U.S. military unalives 11 people in strike on alleged rug boat from Venezuela, Trompito says. Washington, September 2nd. The U.S. military unalived 11 people on Tuesday in a strike on a vessel from Venezuela allegedly carrying illegal narcotics. President Trompito said in his first known operation since his administration's recent deployment of warships to the Southern Caribbean. We just over the last few minutes literally shot a boat. Shot it. Pew pew. Shot the boat. It was huge. Explosion, water, rugs, people, body parts. Literally shot out a boat. A rug carrying boat. Lots of rugs in that boat. So many rugs in that boat. Put them all.
You're stealing, right to jail. You're playing music too loud, right to jail, right away. You're driving too fast, jail. Slow, jail.
I'd put them in jail if I didn't eviscerate and blow the boat up, which is what he did. Right? We just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat. A rug-carrying boat. A lot of rugs in that boat. He's a car salesman. He sells you this shit on a regular basis. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of rugs pouring into our country. So many rugs. Just pouring into our country like coffee. Coming in for a long time. These came out of Venezuela. These were Venezuelan drugs. He later shared a video on his Truth Social platform that appeared to show footage from overhead drones of a speedboat at sea exploding and then on fire. The strike resulted in 11 tourists unalived in action. He added that the U.S. military had identified the crew as members of Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, which the U.S. designated a tourist group in February. He repeated allegations that Tren de Aragua is being controlled by Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, accusations that Caracas denies. Venezuela's communication minister, Freddy Nanez, suggested in a post on social media that the video shared by Trompito was created with artificial intelligence. Ain't nobody claiming those bodies? Reuters conducted initial checks on the video, including a review of its visual elements using a manipulation detection tool, which did not show evidence of manipulation. However, thorough verification is an ongoing process, and Reuters will continue to review the second footage too, as more information becomes available. The Pentagon has not released specifics about the attack, including what kind of rugs were on board, the quantity, or how the strike was carried out. See, that's what I came here for, no? I came here for the information. I came here
too much information and shit.
To know how many bricks and how many men. We know there was 11 men on that dinghy. How many bricks did they have on there? Right? But at this point of this article, the Pentagon has not released specifics about the attack, including what kind of rugs were on board, the quantity, or how the strike was carried out. The decision to blow up a suspected rug vessel passing through the Caribbean instead of seizing the vessel and apprehending its crew is highly unusual and evokes memories of the U.S. fight against militant groups like Al-Qaeda, the Al-Qaeders. Being suspected of carrying rugs doesn't carry a death sentence, said Adam Isaacson, Director for Defense Oversight at the Washington office on Latin America, in a post on X. That's crazy, man. Just blow it up, huh? Boom. Fuck it. No worries. That's it. You see it? You know what they doing? It's a little dinghy. What they got on there? Maybe one hammer? Maybe. You got all these ships and drones and shit, huh? You couldn't throw a net over them like the old 1960s Batman show and shit? Huh? You just blow the shit up. So now, somebody selling a nickel bag that came from Sinaloa, that's it? Detectives get to smoke them now? The United States has deployed warships in the Southern Caribbean in recent weeks with the aim of following through on a pledge by Trompito to crack down on rug cartels. Tuesday's strike appeared to be the first such military operation in the region to that effect, and since there's been another. Just like when they sent the plane with all the wrong guys, all the wrong bad guys to CSOP. Remember that? Same shit. let's see what we can get away with, and then we're gonna do that shit again. 7 U.S. warships, along with 1 nuclear-powered fast attack sub, are either in the region or expected to be there soon, carrying more than 4,500 sailors and Marines. While U.S. Coast Guard and Navy ships regularly operate in the Southern Caribbean, the current buildup exceeds the usual deployments in the region. In the naval force are warships, including USS San Antonio, USS Iwo Jima, USS Fort Lauderdale. Some can carry aerial assets like helicopters, while others can also deploy Tomahawk cruise missiles. The U.S. military has also been flying P-8 spy planes in the region to gather intelligence. U.S. officials have said they've been flying over international waters. Speaking to reporters, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said these particular rugs were probably headed to Trinidad or some other country in the Caribbean. Right. Okay. Suffice it to say that the president is going to be on the offense against rug cartels and rug trafficking in the United States. Trumpito's singling out of Maduro has raised alarms in Caracas that their government might be the real target. Last month, the United States doubled its reward for information leading to the arrest of Maduro to $50 million. Accusing him of links to rug trafficking and criminal groups. Venezuelan officials have reportedly said that Tren de Aragua is no longer active in their country after they dismantled it during a prison raid in 2023. They didn't give us no numbers of rugs, but they showed us that boat. We're going to watch the video. A boat with 11 people. What's up? Nobody's claiming those bodies, though? Where's their kids at? Their family? That the government can say, or the communications director can say, nah. That didn't happen. Washington, September 10th. More than a week after President Trumpito announced that the U.S. military had blown up a boat off Venezuela, the operation, which unalived 11 people, largely remains a mystery to many in Washington. Trump's team released a video of the September 2nd strike and said it unalived members of a Venezuelan gang transporting rugs. Officials have not identified who was on board, what illicit rugs were on the boat, or how the attack was carried out. Now, officials don't have to reveal anything, right? Nobody knows who these guys were, what was happening, Let's see the surveillance, huh? Trumpito's team released a video of the September 2nd strike and said it unalived members of Venezuelan gang transporting rugs. Still, officials have not identified who was on board, what illicit rugs were on the boat, or how the attack was carried out. Some experts question whether the decision to summarily unalive people merely on suspicion of smuggling rugs violated international law. Trafficking in an illegal substance is not normally considered a capital offense. Officials have given changing versions of where the boat was going. Shortly after the attack, Secretary of State Marco Rubio told reporters that the boat was probably headed to maybe. I was thinking it could be. Who knows? Said it was probably headed to the Caribbean nation Trinidad and Tobago. And Trumpito said it was headed for the U.S. Man, nobody knows where it's going. Rubio later amended his comment. You gotta go with what Daddy says. And if you go against what Daddy says, you gotta rewind, Rubio pendejo. Come on.
Adios, pendejo.
In a break with tradition, Congress was not briefed in the week following the strike. Beyond a legally mandated written notice, this angered Democratic lawmakers and analysts said it was unusual. Forget the debt. They don't care about the Democrats. They don't care about nothing. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make an executive order. And or it's not going to happen. I'm going to say that it did. Whatever works. Usually you see much more robust engagement from presidential administration, says Scott Anderson, a fellow in governance studies at the Brookings Institution. A week after, if they still have not given a briefing on what happened and why, that is strange. Critics said the action in international waters was the latest example of Trumpito testing the limit of the law as he expands the scope of presidential power. The U.S. Constitution requires that Congress, not the president, must declare war. He don't care. Some say I'm a dictator. I'm not a dictator. I mean, some do. I think they want a dictator, but that's not what I am. Shut the fuck up, man. In the notice to Congress, Trump cited the unalivings of tens of thousands of Americans due to rug trafficking. No, due to rug addiction. Due to rug trafficking, and said the vessel was assessed to be affiliated with a designated tourist organization and to be engaged in illicit rug trafficking activities. He got these words, man. He put these words together in the soup and he feed it to you. Trump has accused Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro of running the Tren de Aragua Ganga, which Washington has designated a terrorist organization. Maduro has denied any connection to the gang, and Caracas says it was rendered inactive 2 years ago. But experts said Trompito's explanation did not address concerns that the strike violated international law. They noted that civilians were unalived, while the Trompito administration provided no evidence of what the vessel was carrying and did not establish that those on board threatened armed attack. Using the words tourists doesn't change the facts, Tess Bridgman, a co-editor-in-chief at Just Security and a senior fellow at New York University Law School, said in a social media post. If this is what it seems, laying the ground for using force in Venezuela or elsewhere without consent, it could end an illegal and unnecessary war of choice, she wrote. No. He. You know how they say you shoot one over the bow? You shoot one over the bow. Usually you do that to see what your enemy want to do, right? He doing it to see what his own country want to do at the same time. Oh, y'all gonna let me do this? Bet. Pew, pew. Pow, pow, boom. Fuck out of here, man. The sketchy details about the unaliving of the alleged Bartel members contrasted. And are they a ganga or are they a Bartel, or is it the same thing? What's what? Sketchy details about the unaliving of the alleged Bartel members contrasted with how the Trompito administration has handled other military actions, even since the start of his second term in January. After the June bombing of an Iranian nuclear facilities, the administration held briefings for members of Congress and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff with the press to explain the operation. Experts noted that rug interdictions normally would involve the U.S. Coast Guard disabling a boat, which would then be seized and its crew arrested and tried. Yeah, none of that. Boom!
This is Sparta!
No questions. No questions. We threw Osama bin Laden's body in the ocean. Don't question us. No questions. We found a passport for one of the hijackers at 9/11. Perfectly. There was a Bible that was fused to a piece of steel, but you found a perfectly good passport on the floor. You know, things fly, right? We got to get into Trompito's coloring book. He got a whole coloring book allegedly he wrote to his alleged boyfriend. What's his fucking face? Epstein. Nothing to see here. He blowing up boats, telling you, hey. No, he said, immigration, yeah. Criminals. First viejita he saw selling an elote anywhere. Come here. Put her in a chokehold. White people mad their rules can't get done. Their business can't operate. Why they ain't going to jail? For hiring undocumented people. Because these are all wars. Blew up a dinghy in the middle of the ocean on some war shit with Venezuela. Say, hey, Democrats, fuck y'all. And then there's people that are like, yeah, he's the man because of that. Nah, y'all both suckers, both sides. Circle jerk. All of these things, and everybody, don't look here. Nobody look here. Shh. How do you feel about your homie Charlie Kirk being unalive like that? It's horrible. We got a new ballroom going up. Did you see the trucks? We got trucks everywhere. They're huge trucks. And the choices that you guys got as the American people is you get the guy that'll fall asleep during all of this fucking chaos, doing all his dirty fucking touching. Or you get the other guy that's just going to blow up a boat, tell you what it was. And then when you follow him, confirmation bias. Of course he did it the right way. He did it his way. America.
This is America.
No mommy's weak.
Am I crazy? This all a joke. Also said international law means nothing in the times we live in right now. Law. The law only means something if it's meant to oppress somebody that either did wrong or talked too much. If they could fire Jimmy Kimmel or if they could put his show on hold indefinitely, they can't lock him up. And just play with the words and say he was inciting. Do not speak out against the administration. They will shut you up. We in a country where in the 60s there was a rash of huge assassinations. That was all for people's agendas to go through, to happen. Right wing, left wing are the same bird, and it's a bird with clipped wings. Are the wings somewhere feeling the pain? The fucking bird is. And guess who's the bird?
This is America.
Huh? The people, the body. But the right wing cut off, left wing cut off, what suffers? The bird. It's so much. It's the illusion of choice, man. Y'all ain't have no choice, man. Some of us have played this fucking game long enough, man. And feel like we have no representation. None. They say, oh, you be it. No. You guys beat that shit out the world. You did it with Malcolm. You did it with Martin. You did it with Fred Hampton. You did it with a million other ones. And there's still some that are in prisons right now. Without order ain't no law. The reality is that laws were created to keep us common folk in check. Laws are not applied equally to all people. And you can't tell the people in control of the laws or the people whose papi has control of the country, you can't tell them that. Either side. 4 years ago or now. It's a circle jerk.
This is America.
We don't even know what rugs were on this boat, what evidence there is, said David Smiled, a Venezuelan expert at Tulane University. Expert of what? Smiled or Smilde said the go-fast boats typically used in the rug trade normally would carry far fewer than 11 people, making it possible that at least some of those on board were refugees. Couple fucking fishermen, man, out having a pint on the water. Tensions between Venezuela and the U.S. have escalated in the wake of the Republican president's new approach to what he says is a war on illegal narcotics. Trompito has ordered the deployment of 10 F-35 fighter jets to Puerto Rico to conduct operations against drug cartels, and has sent at least 7 warships to the Caribbean carrying more than 4,500 sailors and Marines. They've also been carrying out amphibious training and flight operations in southern Puerto Rico because that's what they've always used Puerto Rico for, to pimp Puerto Rico out. It's a military situation for them. They want to drop bombs. They want to Vieques that shit up. U.S. officials have not ruled out further action. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth told the troops on Monday, he told the troops that they were not deployed to the Caribbean for training, but instead sent to the front lines of a critical counter-narcotics mission. Members of Congress who typically would have briefed about a major operation said they had been provided with little or no information. We have not received any sort of detailed explanation from the White House as to who the target was, what the intelligence was behind it, why the strike was taken. Representative Adam Smith of Washington, the top Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee, said on Monday. Smith noted that an administration briefing for Congress on the incident had been scheduled for Friday but was postponed until this week. Republican Senator Rand Paul said it was a worrisome policy to blow up suspected drug dealers without trial. It's just crazy. Here we're just assuming there'll not be any problems just by blowing up boats. Does anybody know people's names? Is anybody going to present evidence as to what they're doing? Paul told reporters on Monday. The story has been refiled to correct transposed words in paragraph 1. Salutes. They still ain't tell us. A week later, that was 10 days later, they still ain't tell us how much work was on the boat. Why won't they tell us how much was on that boat? I swore I heard a number. Boom, blew that shit up.
We just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. And you'll be seeing that and you'll be reading about that. It just happened moments ago, and our great general, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who's been so incredible, including what took place in Iran, knocking out potential nuclear power for a long time to come. I think within a month they would have had it if we didn't do what we did. But he gave us a little bit of a briefing, and you'll see. And there's more where that came from. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela. So we took it out, and you'll get to see that after this meeting is over.
Out, bro.
Do you have any questions, please?
Can you talk about the strategic benefits by having Space Force Command headquartered in Huntsville?
Well, it just works because we have so much else there. And having a central, you could call it a central command, but it really is a command station. Also, even locationally, where it is, and when you think about flying distances, if you can save a half.
When you think about doing things, and you know how when stuff gets done, you know, when you do them, sometimes doing things, you gotta, you know, go to where the things get done. And if you don't go to where the things get done, then, you know, shit gets crazy. You know what I mean? The fuck is he talking about, man? The mommy's waiting.
No mommy's waiting.
For an hour, as fast as some of these planes go and things go. And
Planes are so fast, they catch a dinghy in the water with 11 guys fishing like that. Jay Flores sent me a video about this boat. And I said, I don't even believe it was a rug boat. He said, I heard you say that. He said, but with my knowledge, you know, they vet these things and they do all of this reconnaissance and they get all this information. They know. I was like, nah. I do know your experience. Confirmation bias is a thing that exists, right? And if Trompito said it, your expertise is more than likely going to back that up, okay? I'm not buying that shit. Show me. Show me the reconnaissance. Tell me what was on that boat. Show me what was on the boat. Who them guys? What happened here? First thing I thought was, man, you blew up some refugees. You blew up some migrants. But what they need 11 dudes on there for? And yeah, okay, maybe some were refugees and some. You don't just blow up boats, bro. You don't just blow them up. You pull them over. You gonna start blowing up rug dealer whips now and shit? Now you just blow the car up at the red light? Fuck it. It's crazy. Jay's brain has been compromised by the Trompito concept. And here's the thing. He's probably right? He could be right. I just ain't buying it. 11 dudes. What are they? Crouched down on each other and shit? Where's the dope? How much dope? Boom. Just fucking no questions. Shoot first, ask questions last. But it's all, let me see. Let me see what liberties I could take. Let me see if I can have, the National Guard pull you over at a red light because you didn't make a complete stop and shit. Let's get to the second boat.
Let's turn our attention right now to more top headlines here on Live Now from Fox as we continue to detail the latest on another kinetic strike of a potential.
Words. Kinetic strike. Those are better words than we blew their motherfucking ass up. Send them to the upper room. Better words.
Suspected narco-terrorist there in the Caribbean. I do want to put up just this video, or this post on social media, I should say, from the President of the United States talking about this, saying this morning, on my orders, the U.S. military forces conducted a second kinetic strike against positively identified, extraordinarily violent drug trafficking cartels and narco-terrorists in the Southcom area of responsibility. I want to play some of this video out as I read the remainder of the statement here on Live Now from Fox, as he says the strike occurred while these confirmed narco-terrorists from Venezuela were in.
Now you could be 11 guys in a dinghy and you're narco-terrorists because a motherfucker said so.
International waters, transporting illegal narcotics headed to the U.S. These extremely violent drug
Now they say there was 7 guys on here, no?
Trafficking cartels pose a threat to U.S. national security.
Y'all should have gone for a swim. They blew y'all the fuck up. They dead in the water. They not even moving. At least the other motherfuckers was running. They was like, yee, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Nah, not these dudes. They sitting there like, oh, shit. What?
transporting illegal narcotics headed to the U.S. These extremely violent drug trafficking cartels pose a threat to U.S. national security, foreign policy, and the vital U.S. interest. The strike resulted in 3 male terrorists killed in action. No U.S. forces were harmed in the strike. Be warned, you are transporting drugs that can kill Americans. We are hunting.
You would think that they're running around with a biological weapon that'll destroy all of Americans. Nah, they running with some dope that y'all been running in this country since forever, since dope existed. Go and protect the poppy field, you lying motherfuckers.
Longer. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So, of course, these are some images coming in from rapid response.
Boom, send them to the upper room.
The upper room.
Lots of Americans do crystal. That's made here. They ain't blowing up fucking trailer parks and shit. Let's blow up a trailer park because somebody in there might be cooking up meth. And they might gonna blow the motherfucker up themselves.
47 talking about their 3 male terrorists killed in action. So that the most recent update from the president on social media, and plenty has been made.
But here's the thing. Are you still, look at 3 male, hold on. You're still not saying how much dope you took off the streets. This morning on my orders, U.S. military forces conducted a second kinetic strike. The words. No mames.
No mames, güey.
Mono con los ojos tapados.
Positively, not just identified. Positively identified. Extraordinarily. Tropito be fucking with them words, boy.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Conducted a second kinetic strike against positively identified, extraordinarily violent drug trafficking cartel narco tourists in the Southcom area of responsibility. The strike occurred while these confirmed narco tourists from Venezuela were in international water. I think if you're in the water in Venezuela, tranquilízate and be careful. Get your ass in the house. Because if you're laying in like a unicorn, a blow-up unicorn floaty, the Americans might blow you the fuck up and you be in the upper room.
The upper room.
So you gotta relax. Stay out of the water in fucking Venezuela. Where international waters transporting illegal narcotics, a deadly weapon poisoning Americans, in caps, in parentheses, with an exclamation point. Americans. Yeah, man. Listen, I'm one of y'all, but I'm not one of y'all. Y'all are dumb as fuck. Dumb as fuck. Just fall for the fucking Kool-Aid, man. Jim Jones. You ever hit that midday crash where your energy just runs into a wall? That's where Dubby comes in. Clean energy, no sugar, no jitters, no crash. Formulated for focus and stamina, not hyper headaches. Whether gaming, grinding, or creating, this stuff keeps you sharp. Use code ILL CARTEL for 10% off at dubby.gg. Fuel up smart. Don't settle for sugar water. A deadly weapon poisoning Americans headed to the U.S. These extremely violent drug trafficking cartels pose a threat to the U.S. national security, foreign policy, and vital U.S. interests. The strike resulted in 3 male terrorists being unalived in action. No U.S. forces were harmed in the strike. Be warned. If you're transporting rugs, big rugs, that can unalive Americans, we are hunting you. And not with a hunting rifle, with a big, huge missile cannon thing from the Space Force. The illicit activities by these cartels have wrought devastating consequences on American communities for decades, killing millions, unaliving of American citizens. No longer. It's not going to be long no more. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
No mames, güey.
Mono con los ojos tapados.
Get the fuck out of my face.
Shit.
He sold y'all a fucking bridge in Brooklyn, man. He's blowing up anything in the water. Boogadoosh! You transporting motherfucking lettuce. Boogadoosh! Blowing your shit up, man. Shout out Flash. I don't see any rugs on the boat. That's crazy. Trompito said it must be true. It gotta be true, dog. There was 11 motherfuckers and 8
million
keys of Fetty Wap on that boat.
no.
Shit. Fuck out of here, man. Wait. JP, wait.
Mono con los ojos tapados.
Is there a third boat? If you're telling me there's a third boat, ya no jodimos. We're fucked, bro. No, we're gonna show this to all our MAGAs, our MAGA caps. We're gonna show this to them and show them that we're doing our job.
Moments ago, President Trump posted on social media that the U.S. military carried out a second strike targeting drug cartels that he says were transporting illegal narcotics to the U.S. The president also posting this video. It follows a similar strike carried out earlier this month.
I see two people on that boat. He said they smoked 3, so maybe 3. I saw another report that said 7.
In the southern Caribbean, and it comes as the Trump administration looks to ramp up pressure on the Maduro regime in Venezuela. Joining me now is NBC News senior national security correspondent Courtney Cubie, and Monica Alba is back with us. She's still outside the White House. So, Courtney, I'll come to you. What more do we know about this strike?
So far, all we really know is what President Trump posted on Truth Social. He said that this was the second strike, as you mentioned, Jamish. 3 males, he says, who had left Venezuela, who he claims were narco traffickers. He calls them specifically terrorists. He says were killed in action. This is the second.
Bro, you know what this feels like to me? Feels like the video that the government of Sinaloa, that the district attorney of Sinaloa gave us of Militia Quinn being terminated in a gas station, which we heard wasn't true. That's what this feels like.
Strike, as you mentioned, in just under a week last Tuesday, the U.S. military taking another strike that killed, in that case, 11 individuals who the U.S. claimed were part of a cartel known as Tren de Aragua.
Okay, so the second one might have been the one that says 7 then, because JP showed me a third one that says 3. Yo, he's wildin', dog.
Raised a lot of legal questions about the U.S.'s ability, their legal authority to strike at a boat like this. Since then, we have heard from a number of different Trump administration officials about that very issue, defending it. President saying that he has the ultimate authority, complete and total authority, to carry out these sorts of strikes. But that being said, Yamish, we have gotten very little fidelity or detail about exactly what happened in this strike, including exactly how long the U.S. was watching the individuals in the strike last week, exactly what kind of aircraft carried it out. And even Capitol Hill has not gotten answers to all of their questions, including the legal.
Nobody. Mexico ain't got no answers to their questions either. Excuse me, you want to tell us about Mayo a year ago? No. Shut up. My business.
Authority. I suspect that, as you're seeing on the screen here today, right now, this second strike is going to raise similar questions about whether the Trump administration has the ability, as they say, to be striking these boats.
In the words of Beanie Siegel, sharks in the water can't swim in the pool. If you're in Venezuela and you're in the water, that's like being an American playing with powder in 2025. You a brave, stupid motherfucker, man. Real talk.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that it was probably headed to the Caribbean, maybe headed to the U.S. They've changed that.
Maybe those guys were on a boat just...
I wanted to do hood rat stuff for my friends.
Specifically that they believe these drugs are headed to the United States and present a direct threat to them.
Well, they lied to you, Nana, whatever your name is. They lied to you, man. It's just a couple of bundles of some fish, and they just blowing shit up and sending them to the upper room.
What should we make of the president's decision to increasingly go after drug cartels in this specific way?
Yeah, this is something that the president says he's also going to continue to do. In this lengthy post, he also says and notes, by the way, that no U.S. forces were harmed in this strike. But he says with a large warning in capital letters, if you are transporting drugs that can kill Americans, we are hunting you. That's the language that the president is using, saying that the illicit activities by these cartels have brought devastating consequences on American communities for decades, killing millions of American citizens. The president writing, no longer. And we know, Yamish, that he is supposed to be having an event coming up where he is signing a proclamation, we believe on a separate topic, not related to this, but as you know so well, he often takes questions in these settings in the Oval Office, and since this is something that has just happened today, it's likely he may want to talk about it more, but I would expect this is something that the White House says they will continue to do if the president authorizes it, because he does want to be sure to, from not just a messaging standpoint, send a very direct, clear message.
I believe he's blowing up whatever the fuck he wants to blow up. Or he ain't blowing up shit. It all looks grainy and nasty anyway. But he's pushing the envelope. See what you're going to allow him to do. And I know what you're going to allow him to do. Everything. All of it. You'll find a reason to convince yourself it's necessary. Someone had mentioned that he ain't hitting the boats out in the Pacific. That he ain't? Trompito announces 3 narco tourists unalived and 3rd U.S. strike on international rug traffickers or fishermen or whatever it is you want to call them. President did not say which terror group was targeted or which nation the vessel originated from. Doesn't matter, man. Doesn't matter. All right? Shit's fishy around here. You got a fishing net, we knock your shit out the sky. It isn't a war on rugs, it's a war on Venezuela. Bingo. Bango. That's it. That's it. That's the answer. That shit could have been coming from anywhere. It came from Maduro. Intelligence confirmed the vessel was trafficking illicit narcotics and was transiting along a known narco trafficking passage en route to poison Americans.
No.
Stop. Three men aboard the boat were unalive and no U.S. forces were harmed in the attack, according to Trompito, who said the vessel was traveling in international waters. Stay out the water. Sharks in the water can't swim in the pool. Footage of the airstrike included Trompito's post shows a small boat racing across the ocean before a massive explosion leaves it engulfed in flames. Stop selling Fetty Wap, narcotics, and illegal rugs in America, and committing violence and tourism against America. Now, what happens when they decide that, man, we can't do nothing with these rug addicts? There's too many of them. Bah! And they start smoking them. Huh? Family members that people couldn't get straight. You know what his followers are going to say? Some are going to try to make reasons for it, and the other ones are going to be like, yeah, America.
This is America.
He's just playing with his toys. That's it. The president posted videos of both airstrikes on Truth Social. The U.S. Navy has deployed at least 8 warships to the Caribbean Sea as part of Trump's effort to crack down on rug trafficking conducted by Maduro-linked narco tourist groups. Highly advanced F-35 fighter jets have been deployed to the region, with at least 5 of the stealth aircraft spotted landing in Puerto Rico in recent days. The Trump administration has also placed a $50 million bounty on Maduro's head. Then Maduro said, come get me, you know where I'm at, motherfucker, I'll be right here. And then he was like, I was only kidding. It's just jokes. 3 boats, man. JP confirmed it. 3 motherfucking boats. Get out the water. Oh, he's wilding. He said, we're going to kill everything. Everything must die.
Releasing this video of a second deadly drone attack on a suspected drug boat in the Eastern Pacific in just the past 2 days. In a post on social media, Hexeth writing, the boat was involved in illicit narcotics smuggling without providing any evidence, going on to say 3 people were killed. It came 1 day after President Trump ordered the first attack on a suspected drug boat in the Eastern Pacific Ocean, off Central America, killing 2. The Trump administration expanding its campaign against alleged drug traffickers. The president claims it's legal, but the strikes have not been authorized by Congress. And members of Congress from both parties have questioned his authority.
If you're running drug boats, you're in grave danger.
Just days ago, the U.S. flying B-52 bombers off the coast of Venezuela, where the president has now authorized covert CIA missions. And now the administration targeting the Eastern Pacific.
Listen, when we started talking about this from the first boat, all right? Now, the reason I want to have this conversation today is because I have that other video that we did of the last time we talked about this, and there were 3, 4, maybe 5 boats at the time. Maybe 3 or 4, I don't recall. But then JP was like, yo, they're at 7. Now they're at 10. Then I heard that Colombia claimed one and said, that's our boat. Why are you blowing up our boats for? No explanation, no nothing. We blew these drug boats out the water. That's it. And I'm saying, okay, they could be. They could be refugees. They could be anybody in a boat. It's a tiny boat in the middle of the ocean. And you just get to go blow shit up? Now, you could see lawmakers, quote-unquote lawmakers, who seem to have no nuts, no power, no nothing. They're even like, hey, bro, what you doing? You ain't supposed to be doing that. He don't give a fuck. What part of that do people not understand? He's not here for permission. He'll ask forgiveness before he asks permission, and he won't ask forgiveness. He'll just, he'll say that and then skip that part. I don't ride a party line. I think both parties are the same party. It's a fuck fest. And who's getting fucked? The American people. Along with the rest of the world.
Well, last week, officials say they seized 50 tons of cocaine since August.
Come on. 50 tons out of these baby boats?
Pete Hegseth releasing this video of a second deadly drone attack on a suspected drug boat in the Eastern Pacific in just the past 2 days.
How we know that's not a lobster boat, man? We don't know that's not a lobster boat. It just feels random. It feels like a horror movie where we live in one of these police state Judge Dredd type situations. They catch a kid with some dope on them. Boom! They blaze them. Nobody got an answer for it. No explanations. No worries. Mind your business. When I look at this, I feel like I'm looking at some Star Wars shit right here. When I look at this is some Star Wars shit, man. There's some Palpatine shit going on over here. It's a lot of shit going on. He gets the call in the middle of the night. We spotted a little boat off of a coast. Blow him up. Blow them up. Let's test these planes out.
Well, last week, officials say they seized 50 tons of cocaine since August. The president says he's prepared to go even further.
And we will hit them very hard when they come in by land. And they haven't experienced that yet, but now we're totally prepared to do that.
Democrats insist that these military...
What? Now we're totally prepared to do that, to hit them on land? What does that mean, we're going to hit them on land? Bah, 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 bah. That's it? We're going to turn this shit into a movie?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah.
A moment ago, you said that if Secretary Hegseth went to Congress and briefed them on the operations
No, we
against
will
these,
go, I said.
You will go. And
we
it would
will
be
go.
difficult for them to object.
I don't see any loss in going. No reason not to. You know, they'll always complain, oh, we should have gone. So we're going to definitely, I'd like to just tell you, let's go. We'll go. We're going to tell them what we're going to do, and I think they're going to probably like it, except for the radical left lunatics.
And Mr. President, if you are declaring...
And listen to what he says here. And see, there's bullshit words, and then there's the ones that stick. And the one that stuck right here was, we're going to tell them what we're going to do.
Just tell you, let's go. We'll go. We're going to tell them what we're going to do, and I think they're going to probably like it, except for the radical left lunatics.
And Mr. President, if you are declaring war against these cartels and Congress is likely to approve of that process, why not just ask for a declaration of war?
Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay? We're going to kill them. You know, they're going to be like dead. Okay? Yeah.
They're going to be like dead, bro. I don't want to get in the... I love boats. I don't want to get in the boat in Lake Michigan no more. The way this dude's blowing up boats, right? He's just blowing up boats all over the place. Somebody miraculously, supposedly, has survived. He survived a U.S. military boat strike. Despite a rug record, his family says he's a fisherman caught in Trompito's war at sea. Trompito got wars on many fronts. To me, this shit ain't politics. Again, both sides are responsible for what's happening right now. But there's a war on the streets with poor people, good people, not criminals. Those doing it the right way, those doing it the easy way. There's wars on all fronts. And in the Caribbean. Santa Elena Province, Ecuador. The last time Andres Fernando Tulfino Chila's sisters heard from him was about a year ago, when he told her he was heading out to fish for work. Last week, she was shocked to learn that her brother was aboard an alleged rug vessel that was struck by the U.S. military. Tulfino Chila, 41, was one of two people who survived last week's strike in the Caribbean, which President Donald Trump said was carried out against a rug-carrying submarine navigating towards the United States. 2 others were unalived. Tulfino Chila and the other survivor were later returned by the U.S. to their countries of origin, Trompito said, describing them as terrorists. Why he didn't send them to seaside? His sister said, no, he's not a criminal, who asked for her name not to be published out of fear for her safety, told CNN from a small coastal town 2 hours from the Ecuadorian port city of Guayaquil. His sisters kept his room as a shrine. She claims to know nothing of her brother's alleged involvement in rug trafficking and instead portrayed him as a desperate father trying to provide for his 6 kids. Coño, man. Buddy smashing. Tulfino Chila's wife left him and took the children, but he still sent them money, his sister said. He's very happy, fun, she said her brother. He's everything I loved most. Yeah, she's selling public relations. She's just protecting her brother. She still hasn't heard from her brother since he was released by Ecuadorian authorities this week after returning home. So he was released? So wait a minute. What the fuck are we doing? We're blowing up the boats. We're unaliving everybody inside. If you happen to survive, we'll drop you back off in your country where you'll be released. Is that what she's saying? Am I tripping? She still hasn't heard from her brother since he was released by Ecuadorian authorities this week after returning home. Ecuador's Attorney General's office said Monday that authorities have no information that Tulfino Chila committed a crime in Ecuadorian territory. So these investigations that are leading to Trompito blowing up these boats, these investigations are going on without corroboration of these other countries. But the countries are saying, we ain't got nothing to charge these guys with. We don't know that he was on a rug boat. Trompito just blowing shit up. Have no information that Tulfino Chila committed a crime in Ecuadorian territory, but he has a criminal record in the U.S. Court documents show that he was arrested, convicted, and jailed in 2020 for smuggling rugs off Mexico's coast before being deported. Okay, that's not a good look. Either way, you got an investigation. You know that there's a rug boat. You know that there's all this money on there. All these guys on there. You want to just blow it up. No arrests, no nothing. That's what we're used to seeing, right? Some kind of boat takes over the other boat. Boom. Lock everybody up. No, we're just blowing it up. Meanwhile, if the other 2 guys that were unalive survived on that boat, the Ecuadorian authorities would have let them go. So why is it worth blowing up that boat? What are we doing here? Shy, because the countries are illicit and them moving the rugs. That's cool. But this just gives dude a license to blow up boats, bro. What happens when you paddling through, and you think it's funny when I say it. What happens when you're in a paddle boat and a little drone comes, hit you? This is the road that we're on right now. Shy, you're being ridiculous. No, this is the road we're on right now. Where you could be anywhere and there's no law involved. People can just do whatever they want to do to you. As long as they're in the government. It's crazy. Y'all wildin'. The question is, how did he survive? Did they jump from the boat? And to think, the dickhead wants a Nobel Peace Prize. What the fuck? You can't make this shit up. But let me tell you something. The precedent has been set. Should anybody that ever ordered a drone strike to take a life be up for a Nobel Peace Prize? They gave one to Obama, didn't they? Precedent set. All you gotta do is you go up there, you Kanye for the shit. You scream and you shout for it. That's what Trompito does. Wham! I want a medal. Wham! I want a Nobel Peace Prize. A Pulitzer. Matter of fact, I'm Trompito. Give me an Oscar, a Grammy, a Tony, an Emmy. Tulfino Chila's sister said 2 other brothers were arrested months earlier. also on rug smuggling charges. Both are in custody. One is in the U.S., the other is in Ecuador. Pacific Transit Route. The family's experience illustrates how Ecuador has become a critical route in the brocane trade. About 70% of the world's brocane supply passes from Colombia and Peru through its shores, Ecuador's president says. Rug runners often transport narcotics through a large stretch of water on the Pacific Ocean and drop them off in Mexico, where they subsequently smuggle them to the U.S. or Europe. Rug trafficker trade is hard to escape in Tofino's Chilas town, according to those who live there. Life is complicated. Listen, man, I don't blame the guy at the bottom that needs to make $1 that ain't trying to really hurt nobody. It's the guys at the top and in the middle that become those monsters, just like our politicians. These people poor. They got to make a living. Life is complicated. It's hard. One man tells CNN of fishermen's financial struggles where monthly wages can be as little as $100. Becoming a rug runner is an enticing prospect when one can make tens of thousands of dollars up front, according to another fisherman who spoke to CNN in March from Manta, an Ecuadorian city on the Pacific coast. The profession has also found itself at the crosshairs of the Trompito administration. On Tuesday, the U.S. expanded its military campaign of attacking boats. It's suspected of illegal rug running, hitting a vessel in the Eastern Pacific. He's hitting whatever he wants. Both people on board were unalived, according to the U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Bigot, racist. It was the 8th known strike by the U.S. military on an alleged rug smuggling vessel since the start of September. All 7 previous strikes had targeted boats in the Caribbean Sea just north of Venezuela. To date, at least 34 people have been unalived in U.S. strikes, 32 of them in the Caribbean. Yo, he's blowing shit up, bro. The Trompito administration says they're about saving American lives from rug overdoses. Bruh, that is the most disingenuous bullshit that I've ever heard. The Trump administration, the Trompito administration says they're about saving American lives from rug overdoses. You shut down the clinics for that. There's overdoses happening right now, directly connected to the decisions that you made. So there's American people overdosing right now because of their addiction and because of the direct moves that you made. Trompito administration says they're about saving American lives from rug overdoses. But most U.S. overdose unalivings aren't from brocane. There you go. Listen here. Crackhead, live forever. Brocane, same thing. You know that, and for both of them, that heart gonna give out eventually. But ODs, that's for that China Blanco, that Fetty Wap. They're from fentanyl, largely produced in Mexico and smuggled over the border by land, often by U.S. citizens. So miss me with the bullshit. As the U.S. strikes continue, the ones caught in the crossfire are rarely cartel leaders, but the men who take the risk for them. They're fishermen often seen as expendable by the gangs that hire them. They are fishermen often seen as expendable by the gangs that hire them. Paper plates, man. No more fishing to feed your families if you're in South America. Absolute facts. Stay out of the boat. It looked like whatever they want it to look like. Let's get it. U.S. strikes on alleged rug boats shift to Pacific Ocean, one near Mexico. On the 28th of October, the United States Secretary of War, which is so stupid. We live in such a nut hugger time, bro. It's crazy. These guys are living their fucking little green soldier fantasies and shit. I'm not the Secretary of Defense. I'm the Secretary of War.
This is Sparta!
These guys are superheroes now. He's the Secretary of War. Not the Secretary of Defense. Nah. Secretary of War. Bunch of dorks. Y'all let a bunch of dorks take over the country. Bashai, it's because you're a liberal. Both sides ain't shit to me. The Secretary of War announced it conducted strikes against 4 boats allegedly trafficking rugs in the Eastern Pacific, unaliving a total of 14 alleged traffickers. The strike left one survivor who the Mexican Navy unsuccessfully attempted to rescue at the request of the U.S. Coast Guard. Listen, these are small boats, bro. There's 14 guys on there with all the work. Sure, that's not 14 guys fishing. Just blow it up with the work, contaminate the water. I ain't believed since the first boat. And the people that voted for this shit are going to be like, he's doing great things. Look at this. Look at these boats, bro. 14 guys on a boat. First boat was 11 guys, and they had 75 million worth of this or that. Come on, man. Miss me with this bullshit, man. It's too much bullshit, man.
Bullshit.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said in her morning news conference, "We do not agree with these interventions. We have a model, a protocol that has given many results. Mexico ain't one for much results." She stated that she asked the United States to coordinate with Mexican authorities to detain alleged traffickers instead of striking them. She stated that while the strike was near Mexico, it was in international waters. The video of the 4 boat strikes was shared on the Secretary of War, Pete Bigot, Twitter. The following day, Sheinbaum met with the U.S. Ambassador Ronald Johnson and top Mexican officials to discuss the event, later describing the meeting as cordial while disagreeing with the strikes. The Trompito administration has destroyed 15 alleged drug trafficking boats since early September. 15 in 2 months. 15. I don't buy that, destroying pipelines. I don't buy it. The attack started on the Caribbean Sea, mostly near Venezuela. The strike occurred 400 miles southwest of Acapulco, the closest strike to Mexico so far. This strike occurred 400 miles southwest of Acapulco, the closest strike to Mexico so far. In the initial weeks of the strikes, most occurred in the Caribbean Sea. The regional scope has shifted. Out of 8 strikes since the 21st of October, 7 have occurred in the Pacific Ocean. The U.S. is most likely using Reaper MQ-9 drones to target the boats. He's just blowing up fishing boats, man. Why would they use all those weapons? Because public relations, that's the marketing budget. Alleged boats destroyed per week. 1, 2, 3, 5. Latin American leaders have been mostly quiet about the attacks, with the exception of Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro, Colombian President Gustavo Petro, and now Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, who have voiced disagreement with the attacks. Within the United States, some politicians have called the attacks unconstitutional, violating due process. Everything this administration has done has been actively violating due process and questioning the evidence used to determine whether a boat is carrying narcotics or not. Despite the objections, the strikes remain popular among American voters. American voters are monsters. They are the filth that they claim to be fighting against. They're out for blood. Rawr, that's why they like having, he's the president of war, sounds so cool. Do you support or oppose the U.S. destroying boats bringing rugs into the United States from South America? 71% yes. I mean, well, are they bringing rugs? That's the question. For those that don't know why I call them that, because I have to speak in code on this channel. The combined popularity of the strikes, minimal pushback from Latin American leaders, and Trompito's confidence following the Gaza-Israel deal. What deal? Make it a certainty that the strikes will continue, increase in pace, and likely target Venezuelan land soon. He's invading countries in the name of the narcos. I don't believe these are rug boats, man. Fuck is 14 dudes doing on that boat? What, they got one key? Stop it. You can't say for certain they are not. Can't say for certain they are. When you're doing everything against the rules, there's no checks and balances, and you can do whatever you want. You can put a guy in a mask and put him in front of a microphone and say, hey, say that you're this, that, and the other, and make us look good. Hey, we got a marketing budget. Let's use these drones and blow up these boats so everybody can see how tough we are, how the Secretary of War and El Presidente is handling shit. So yeah, can't say for certain they're not. Can't say for certain they are, as far as I'm concerned. Why? Because usually when they are, people are arrested. They put all the dope out on the tables. They do their PR like that. That ain't their PR no more. Blow up all the evidence. Nothing to see here.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
Used to be motherfuckers went to jail.
You're stealing, right to jail. You're playing music too loud, right to jail, right away. You're driving too fast, jail. Slow, jail.
Used to be they went to jail, but now it just blow up the boat.
Your services are no longer needed in the community.
Who the bomber clot?
Some people say, yeah, that's how it should be. Yeah, if they're getting the bad guy. But if there's a chance that they didn't get the bad guy and they got one not bad guy, or 14 or 35 of them, it's a bad play, man. It's not good. There's something we're not hearing. We heard the cries of one sister of a survivor of one of these boat bombings who was let free by the police. Because they're like, I don't know why the U.S. government dropped the bomb on you anyway. Where are all these bodies? Where's the people from all these bodies? Who are these people that you're blowing up? But come on, you're blowing up all the evidence. You're blowing up the people. 14 guys on a boat plus 80 million in dope. 14 guys on that little boat right there. Why? Did they have fishing poles? This is my question. It's never been about rug boats with Venezuela. Now it's with everybody though. Now he's just chest out. Him and the Secretary of War. America. Fuck yeah. Bunch of dorks with names and shit. How you gonna blow up a boat and not arrest any survivors? Just blow it up and then send the drone home. Listen, you see they're already talking about land. Walking in on land. What? That's called occupying a country. That's called war. Maybe that's why you got a Secretary of War. Super tough guy. He wants to be the Secretary of War. Y'all ever watch Sons of Anarchy? You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Henry Rollins' character in Sons of Anarchy. That's who the Secretary of War reminds me of. Right? Our Secretary of War, Pete Bigot guy, whatever his name is. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so, y'all. I think about this guy when I see him. That's what he reminds me of. Henry Rollins' character in Sons of Anarchy. They can't convince me that they're blowing up rug boats. Not missing all the protocol. I ain't heard about no surveillance. I ain't heard about no arrests. No who it's connected to, whose work this was. Nobody's claiming the work. Nobody's claiming the work saying, hey, you blew my shit out the water. Who? Show me an article. Tell me. No? They had that manta that mentioned the FBI, whatever. That was October 5th. We're October 31st at this point. To me, it feels like a bunch of black hand clandestine missions that motherfuckers is going on to push a narrative. We'll keep an eye on the boat thing. I expect in November, before Christmas, at least another 12, 13 boats.